Welcome back to the Talk with AVC, and we are back here with our March Madness and MLB segment. That is what we're going to be doing in this one. So March Madness, let's cover it for a second. So we got to see one of the greatest games that I've ever watched in Gonzaga versus UCLA. That was fun. Baylor kind of steamrolled Houston, and then we got the final we all wanted, which was Gonzaga and Baylor, and it disappointed. It disappointed. Gonzaga, I have to ask on behalf of everyone, the heck was that? You started the game down 9. You let Baylor go on a 9-0 run to start the game. Jalen Suggs was okay. He never picked up. Mr. 3rd overall in the draft. Corey Kispert had the weakest matchup of the entire game and sucked. That was bad. Drew Timme was meh. Like, the team just... I don't know if Baylor was just a bad matchup for them, but Gonzaga looked like they burned themselves out in that UCLA game. That's what this national championship looked like to me. It was, and I feel for that Gonzaga fan base because the basketball team is basically all you got at that school. It's the only reason why you're D1, and it hurts all your other sports programs because they're so good and they're in the conference that they're in. But you did this to yourselves. I mean, you had a perfect season and you wash it away on that. That was sad. It's making me sad. I don't want to dwell on it anymore, unfortunately, but March Madness is over. A lot of good people are out a lot of money because Gonzaga lost. I actually had a poll on my Instagram. You know who you are if you voted. It was 33-5 in favor of Gonzaga. So about 86% of you thought it was going to be Gonzaga. That's March Madness. All right, so let's get on the baseball. I finally am going to got some stuff to talk about. So opening week and series have happened. How have I, as a Yankee fan, reacted? Frustration. I feel like a lot of people react like that. But also a little bit of patience. Let's all take a deep breath, Yankee fans. Let's all just breathe. The Yankees are going to be fine. Yes, the bats came out a little sluggish to start the year. That happens a lot with most teams. Pitchers take a little bit the hitters take a little bit to warm up to the live pitching. The velocity is higher than they've been working with in spring training. The bat's a little heavy. It's cold in the Northeast. However way you want to spin it. A slow start is not the worst thing in the world, especially after they slaughtered the Orioles last night. Holy crap, Stanton hit the hell out of that grand slam. But stay calm, guys. We're going to be fine. I actually think the most interesting thing out of that opening series was the Yankees pitching well. But again, I don't want to attribute it, but I will attribute it more to the fact that if you look statistically, pitchers always dominate the beginning of the season, and then the bats heat up around the summer. That's not surprising, but that's the way it is. So, as far as how the team looks, Jay Bruce is going to be the whipping boy of the Yankees this year. I can already tell, especially since Gary Sanchez looks decent. Like, he's hit 3 home runs already, which is the most happy I've been to see Gary Sanchez at the plate in a long time. Hasn't really done anything else, but I just tell Jay Bruce, you're going to be the whipping boy this year. I'm sorry. All right. So let's go to the Mets. Well, they were delayed about a week because the Nationals had a whole outbreak to their bench players. It's dumb, but all right. So I don't want to say lull Mets because it's too early for that. But I'm going to leave you with this. New year, same Mets. Jacob deGrom, I am so sorry. Once again, the Mets cannot give Jacob deGrom run support, and they cannot hold a lead once he leaves the game. This has got to... there was a crazy statistic I was looking at. This is like the 30th time or something that the Mets have blown a lead after DeGrom gave them one? I gotta actually look in my folder here and see if I actually have this statistic saved. Give me 1 second here, guys. It would appear I don't have it on that one. Do I have it on this page? No. Do I have it on this page? Yes, I do. Here we go. I'm sorry, it was the 31st time in his career that the Mets bullpen has blown a lead for him. DeGrom has 70 career wins. The Mets bullpen held on to those 31 leads. DeGrom would have upwards of 100 wins. Also, Luis Rojas, don't lie to your fan base. You said DeGrom could throw almost 100 pitches tonight. You took him out after 77 after he was balling through 6 innings. And then you pinched hit Jonathan Villar instead of Dominic Smith. Look, I think Dominic Smith's a bit overrated, but even I would have pinched hit Dominic Smith over Jonathan Villar at that point. Oh boy. Mets, don't panic, but all right, so let's talk about the rest of the league real quick. So I don't know if people have heard yet, but Fernando Tatis went down last night with some type of elbow injury. I'm hoping for the best for him. Even though I think he got paid way too early. You hate to see injuries, and he is a much-needed injection for baseball as a sport. So I hope he makes a fast recovery. Sorry, guys. I'm tired today. But yes, and also we have news on the whole All-Star Game fiasco. I'm not going to get too much into it because it relates to politics, and I don't like talking politics, especially on the show where I like to talk about sports. But if you haven't heard, basically the MLB took the president's party's position on being against the Georgia voter ID law for something along those lines, and moved the All-Star Game out of Atlanta and moved it to Colorado. Colorado? Really? Like, why Colorado? Why would you want... Put it in Texas where you can have a full stadium. That's the other big thing. The Rangers actually had a full capacity stadium of 40,000-ish fans at their game. That was the first time since the pandemic began. So that was cool to see. Hopefully there's no massive outbreaks that result from that. But just why Colorado? Like that organization is a trash heap. They don't deserve an All-Star game. I feel bad for the Braves, and I feel bad for the fans in Atlanta and the businesses who rely on that game to boost their local economy. But what are you going to do? I mean, at this point, what are you going to do? So, as far as that goes, baseball has been pretty interesting. As far as teams I've been the most impressed by, I would probably say the Angels so far. But then again, they kind of do this every year, so I'd like to see it sustained. But I am impressed by what I've seen from them. The pitching has been serviceable. Ohtani looks good. He almost got himself injured on that plate-to-plate. Get out of the way, Ohtani. But the rest of the team looked pretty solid. Mike Trout, obviously, is Mike Trout. Other than the team I am the most disappointed in, I don't want to say I'm even disappointed because I kind of saw this coming, but the team I'm the most disappointed in is Oakland. They're 0-5 to start the year. This is what happens when ownership doesn't give you a real budget to work with, and you have to replace your all-star caliber players in Liam Hendricks and Marcus Semien with Elvis Andrews, Elvis Andrews, and Trevor Rosenthal. That's what happens when you go bargain bin hunting. That's what happens. So that's unfortunate, but what is not unfortunate is having baseball back. It is just great to have. I've been watching as many games as I can. It's so nice having baseball back. Like, you wouldn't even believe, for me. And ladies and gentlemen, that is going to do it for this baseball segment here on the Talk with ABC. We'll be back in a minute. Might talk a little bit of NHL, but the main thing focus is going to be on the NBA. And I will see you in the next segment, and go watch previous ones if you haven't. See you in the next one.